welcome to Falcon's Ledge. I'm Ostringer, and today we're doing an unboxing and initial impressions on the MonsterTech Mounts. Really exciting. The MonsterTech sent me over a mount to test, and it's going to be a lot of fun because we're going to get a chance to compare the MonsterTech mounts against their competition. And in the box, we've got a really neat signed card from MonsterTech. And here's the mount. The mount that I got was for the VKB Gunfighter. I'm also getting an extension, it's on the way, to mount my VKB Gunfighter with an extension, so it'll be a lot of fun because I've really never done a lot of extension flying. So that's going to be cool. We'll go ahead and open this since it's right here. Got a little part kit here, and there's the mount. That's all that's in that box. Let's take a quick look at the mount. Sorry, I'm a bit sick today, so if my voice is a little bit off, that's probably why. That is very thick. And one thing I really like about this is it looks like it is anodized aluminum rather than painted. And look at those reliefs. That's really cool. Those are some deep reliefs. Lots of mounting options, and it looks like it is basically a custom fit because that is the shape of the bottom of the Gunfighter. So let's see what else is in here. Hold on one moment. Let me get in there and okay. All right. I was just making sure that there was no other receipts or anything. Okay. So in here we've got a nice box. It looks like the Monster mounts themselves, and nice and heavy as expected, right? And then we have an anodized cleaner, which of course confirms the idea that these are anodized aluminum rather than painted aluminum, which is awesome. Anodizing aluminum binds the coloration to the aluminum a lot better. You get a lot better penetration, and so that they don't scratch as easily. So let us take a look, and I think anodized aluminum looks really good, by the way. It really does. It has a nice, well, you can see it here. Has a nice, like, deep color to it. It isn't particularly shiny in most places. Some anodized aluminum can be. If you polish the aluminum and everything, it does end up getting shiny, but it just seems like there's lots of color penetration on it. That's all. My opinion. All right, here's the mounts. This is the horizontal piece. Oh, the machinings are really clean. I did notice that on my Foxx mounts, these were a little bit more rough. These look like they've been beveled, which is cool. A little bit less assembly than the Foxx mounts, but you know, they're more expensive as well. And this is the long mount. So these things are going to mount, and you'll be able to locate this horizontal piece further down on the mount, which will enable you to run an extension on your stick. We'll talk more about extensions later. I like the toggle switch. That's nice. Has a stop here as well as a stop here. And looks like both of those are there. Both have jam nuts. Have a nice plastic cover over the end of that. It's a longer throw as well. But one thing that's I think is gonna make a bit of a difference is the size of your mounting surface here. Doesn't look like there's it does look like there's an adhesive strip here, which should help to get some grip on the desk. If you can see that under here, it's not like a rubber mount, but it has some. It's like a sticker, which could help. So let's see what else we've got in the box here. Looks like we've got some of our mounting hardware. This is pretty beefy stuff, man. I gotta say, that is some beefy stuff. Which is not to say that you know, having such large hardware is a requirement. It's just a nice thing to have. That's all that comes in a nice branded box. I like that. So the assembly should be fairly simple. This is going to end up mounting on there. Should be that way, in fact. So yeah, this is what comes in the box, which is fantastic. I really like it. That is really cool. They also sent me a set of tools, which appear to be MonsterTech brand. This bag of tools they included. This is something you can order from MonsterTech when you make your order. It's in their accessories section. I would highly recommend picking one of these up, especially if maybe you only have basic tools or you don't have a whole lot of tools, because these things are really nice. They are ball-ended hex wrenches, and I really, really like those. Believe me, you're going to get a heck of a lot more use out of these things than just assembling this thing. So, just so you know, MonsterTech put out their own assembly guide, and it's probably even better than this one. But I like to walk through these anyway, just because it's a good thing to do. So these little inserts, this is what the screws go into, and this is going to assemble like this in there, and that is going to be facing down. The great thing about this is that when this is all secured in here, this bracket's going to keep everything square. That is a really great feature. And this, what I like about this is it's got a little captured ball bearing right here. And that captured ball bearing is going to do a lot of good too. Because once you get that in there, that's going to keep that pressed. It's going to put some tension against the back of this groove. So if you've ever worked with these aluminum extrusions, sometimes when you get your accessory pieces in there, they're going to go in deep, and it's going to sometimes be hard to get this thing squared up against that to screw that in. But that is really cool that they've captured a ball bearing in the back of that. I like it. So the way that these are going to go in there, got a little bit of grass in there. Yep, that's right, the grass is back. I am going to get rid of the grass. We are going to go to something else. Eventually I'm going to have a full-on studio setup. That's going to be constructed over the next few months. Probably by the end of 2022, we'll have a full-on studio in here. We'll do a studio tour and everything. So these are going to go in sideways, and then they're going to rotate. And the way that they formed these with these grooves here, really neat, because that's going to square that whole situation up in there. And once you get them in, which, yep, see that? You see how that that captured bearing, the spring-loaded bearing, see how that pushes that whole unit up against here and makes it really easy to move around. So I don't have my extension yet, so we're going to be mounting this about that high. Sorry, just comparing with my Gladiator NXT. I can adjust this later. But, so these things are going, see how that we have these holes here? They are machined for this unit. So this unit is going to sit in there the other way, like this. So you're going to see this like that, okay? And what's going to happen is that as we tighten this screw here, it's going to pull this circular area and into this socket here and tighten up, and that's what provides you the friction that holds everything in place. So, my apologies. Like I said, I am sick. I don't think it's a COVID, but it's the sick anyway. So let's move these things out of the way, as we only need. They included some extras. I think that's freaking awesome of them. Every company should do that. All right, so let's put these in. We're going to just hand tight them. Make sure that we're getting nice threadings. I've talked about that before. Though this is not specifically a channel about teaching you how to assemble things, you know, I might as well share the lessons I've learned over my life of messing things up. So what we'll do is we'll just bring this down until that about meets there. I don't know exactly how tight we're going to need them at the moment, but I may need to loosen them up, but I'm only tightening them with my finger, really. They're not even finger tight. You can see that they're still loose. Then I'll bring this in. We'll see, yep, we need to bring them out a bit, which is okay. Brought them out a couple of turns. Now we'll just work this in. We might want to make sure that it's completely seated on both sides so that when it grabs, that it's going to grab evenly. And even then, before tightening this all up in the end, what I'd actually recommend is to bring a level out, connect it to your desk, and make sure that it is even to your specs. But for now, I'm just going to kind of tighten these up. I will get a final tightening on them later on when we do some additional testing. So that is the first step. Now we're going to attach our plate. This is the Gunfighter plate, and I actually think I'm going to connect the Gunfighter to it first. Yep, so we have our Gunfighter. I've already got the base off of it. And we are going to, so we want to make sure that our bevels here are facing upwards. All right, so just so you know, this piece that's included in their kit, fabulous, because when you tighten these, the best way you could tighten them this way, but that's going to give you a very short throw. Instead, use the ball section of it, and that's going to allow it to go in there at an angle. Well, you don't have a whole lot of leverage here, right? That's what this is for. This is to gain additional leverage on these bolts. Now, we did this all the time when it comes to working with cars. We call it an excessive force tool. We'll actually take the lever from the jack and put it over our socket or wrench or whatever and pull on it. So that's great that they included that. The next step, we're actually going to require a couple of these. Nope, we got some grass in there. All right, next step, we're going to get more grass in there. Come on. Next step, we are going to put our mounting plate. It's going to go on like that, but we need a couple of these. So we're going to insert these in this way. Okay, we'll get those in there nice and even. One way that you can even them out is actually just to put that in there. Yep, there we go. So those are even. Put that over there. Put this one in. Bam, there we are. Check that out. All right, and then we're going to put our screws in, or bolts rather. All right, we'll make sure that that's nice and even the way that we want to. Since this is going to extend it out a little bit, I'm actually going to move it forward slightly. We will grab another Allen wrench here. We will discover it's the wrong size. Grab the correct size and zip it in. Again, do another check to make sure it's even. Okay, and like I said, I will come back through and make sure that everything is tightened. But right now, let's let's get this the joystick on it. I gotta say, I really love that this is such a nice fit. Such a very nice fit. And it's looking like we've got some additional screws here, and I think I'm going to double check the fitment. I believe that that's the size. That is. They have included some washers, which I will utilize. Takes 4 of these bolts, and the remainder of these screws and washers and nuts here we will save for later if necessary. Definitely got to get rid of the grass. Easy to lose stuff in there. Alright, so we will mate this up. And they do have, in their mounting method, there is a room to have a, what's the word, an angle on the stick. Because when you're using it in center stick, which is what I'm going to try fly, I know that I'm a proponent of side stick. I really am. But when it comes to flying helicopters, there is no helicopter that is side stick. And I am trying to get a realistic experience when I'm flying a sim. That isn't what I'm doing when I'm playing Star Citizen, but again, this is something that's adjustable. And if I'm playing Star Citizen, I can always remove the extension and raise the stick up and use this. So that's kind of the idea here, is that this will be for flying helicopters, and the Hornet also has a stick that is extended. The extension I'm getting might be a little bit too long for simulation of the Hornet, we'll say, but that's okay. For now, I'm going to mount this straight up, so I'm not going to rotate it at all. But if you look here, I can actually rotate this a good amount. But for now, I'm going to keep it nice and straight. I'm going to hold that steady and just tighten this up just a little bit. I'm going to go corner to corner, just so as not to torque the case, because there is a sensor in the Gunfighter that is connected directly to the case. Alright, so we are all assembled, and that is what the mount looks like. I will have, in the review, I'll have some images of it connected to the desk. But yeah, that is the assembly of it, and we will continue on with the first impressions. Alright, so here we are in the DCS Huey. I took advantage of the Halloween sale and picked one up for 50% off. If you haven't yet, go and do that for yourself. Please keep in mind that this is my first time ever flying a helicopter in DCS, so, well, it's bad. Also, still having problems with the video card, so the frame rate isn't the best. I'm really sorry about that. So, onto the mounts. The mounts are extremely sturdy. They're probably the strongest mounting solution that I've ever used. My 2x4 solution was pretty strong because, you know, it was made of 2x4s. These things are just as big as my 2x4s that I use, but they are all metal. And it's using a toggle switch, which is really nice, or a toggle clamp. I'm really excited to see how they handle the extension, because I think that's going to be the real test of the strength of these mounts, because with an extension you're adding a lot of leverage to the stick itself. So when you're pulling all the way to the end of the throw, it's going to put a lot of stress on that mount, and it could cause it to flex. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and fly around. Though this mission, you know, it was supposed to be a hovering mission, but why don't I fly around and see if I can get myself killed? I can definitely see how an extension would help with a helicopter. Just that, I mean, I've added curves to this. I've added a 20% curve to this, but just having that larger area of movement, I can really see how that would be helpful. We'll bring it around and go past the airfield again. I promise I am trying to get a new video card. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be this spring. We'll see how that works out. But for now, DCS recording sometimes has a bit of lag to it. Alright, yeah, this is pretty bad, so I think that I'll end it there. But yeah, right now, initial impressions for these things, they are massively stable, very strong, very well built. I'm really excited to use them for the next month or so to get a really solid opinion on them, and then of course I'll share that with you guys. Please, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I really do love hearing from all of you guys. I love hearing your opinions. I love getting questions and being able to help out with some answers. Please go check out MonsterTech. So far it's been really good. And subscribe to the channel if you can. That would be really helpful to me. And I hope that you all have a great day.